Picture this: an entire campaign dedicated to the blue team without sharing the spotlight and returning to the planet Reach. Well, this happened, but in a novel. In recent years, Halo has expanded its universe with incredible, exciting, and action-packed stories, but they never made it to the controller and remained only on paper. In this video, we're going to talk about those campaigns that never made it to a console, those stories that could have and should have been video games. And who knows, maybe Halo Studios still has time to make them a reality. Get ready, because today we're delving into the Halo campaigns we never played. Ever since 343 Industries took the reins of the Halo universe, one thing was clear: their vision went beyond gameplay. They wanted to build a deep, complex universe, and above all, a narratively strong one. Over the years, the studio expanded the saga's story not only through games, but also through comics, animated series, and especially novels. Some of the best plots, the most emotional moments, and even the most important character developments happened not on screen, but in the pages of a book. The result was an immense yet fragmented universe. Many players found themselves asking, when did this happen? Who is this character? Or why didn't anyone tell me this in the game? And to fully understand what's happening in Halo 4, Halo 5, or Halo Infinite, you have to look beyond the controller. There are stories that not only deserve to be part of the gameplay, but would have been unforgettable campaigns. And that's exactly where our journey begins. Because if there are stories that should have been played out, this is one of them. Halo: The Shadow of Reach, written by Troy Denning. This novel represents that incredible combination of nostalgia and action we all crave in a video game. The story begins 1 year after the events of Halo 5 Guardians, when Cortana has already unleashed her control regime with Forerunner weapons. In response, the Master Chief leads a covert mission to the planet Reach, the original home of the UNSC, the Spartans, and the scene of the legendary fall to the Covenant. The objective of Blue Team, that is Kelly, Fred, Linda, and Master Chief himself, is to infiltrate the ruins of the castle base to recover Dr. Halsey's secret technology, an artifact that could be crucial to stopping Cortana. Now imagine that in a video game, a campaign dedicated to Blue Team returning to the birthplace of the Spartans, Reach, a devastated planet, missions exploring and finding out what happened to this planet after the war against the Covenant, surprise enemies, and all with the emotions and weight of returning home after a historic defeat. Blue Team doesn't just arrive, they are forced to improvise, fighting Seraph interceptors, and the operation becomes a race against another enemy, the Banished. What's truly brilliant about Shadows of Reach is how it alternates between 2 points of view. On one hand, the Spartans confronting the history of their home, and on the other, a brilliant leader of the Banished, who believes he's protecting an ancient Forerunner portal. This adds a dark moral layer of tension and strategy. Furthermore, the narrative includes spectacular elements: the presence of Escarum and Atriox, the discovery of forgotten technology, and other surprises found throughout the book. If this were a video game, we could talk about stealth missions, explosive escapes, close quarters combat in ruined corridors, Easter eggs or mentions of the Noble Team, and key moments of Forerunner exploration. All of this with the soundtrack, atmosphere, and story that so characterizes a Halo game. But that wasn't the case. This story remained on paper. However, it transcended sales and reviews. Shadows of Reach remains one of the highest rated novels, with readers praising its pacing, character development, and the depth of its universe. In short, it brings together all the ingredients for a spectacular game, one that recaptures the grandeur of Halo, the emotional weight of the Chieftain, and the strategic tension of the Banished. A game that many of us Halo fans would love to see, and that, honestly, Halo Studios could still make a reality. The Rubicon Protocol, written by Kelly Gay. This novel is a key piece in the current Halo universe because it connects directly to Halo Infinite, offering a brutal and emotional window into what happened immediately after the fall of the UNSC Infinity on Zeta Halo. The plot plunges us into December 2559, just after the UNSC Infinity frigate is ambushed by the Banished, and the human fleet is in total chaos. Rubicon Command emerges as a response to this predicament, an extreme directive to halt the enemy's advance by any means necessary, from sabotage to guerrilla operations led by the surviving Spartans. What's interesting about this book, and why it was a shame not to see a campaign adaptation, is that it's not a story focused solely on the Master Chief. Here, we meet new faces. As well as new Spartans you'll remember from the Halo Infinite campaign, there are also human crews and common soldiers fighting to survive in hostile territory. We see how the audio logs we found in Infinite come to life with faces and emotions, not just voice lines. The book intersperses their points of view with those of the Banished. The main setting is Zeta Halo. We abandon the collapsed frigate and flee to the Ring, seeking refuge, as was the case with the Mortal Reverie, a UNSC ship that emerges between fractured mountains and Forerunner structures, using and adapting it as a UNSC base of operations, at least for a time until the Banished took it over. This story could have led to one of the best campaigns ever created for a Halo, with the main objective being to survive on Zeta Halo and stop the Banished advance. Interspersed between several characters, each of whom contributes greatly to the story behind Halo Infinite, which we only see briefly during the campaign we know. This fictional campaign I'm proposing would have been something similar to Halo 3 ODST, where we see the perspectives of several characters intertwined with each other. Being able to witness firsthand crucial events that occurred before the Master Chief was rescued by the pilot, each story culminating in a tragic death, just as we see in Halo Infinite. In short, the Rubicon Protocol doesn't just fill in narrative gaps, it creates its own story of heroism and sacrifice. The best part is that many of these scenes are based on locations already in Halo Infinite, which would have facilitated an adaptation in the form of a campaign or DLC. If Halo Studios wants to deliver a campaign that fills narrative gaps and also features great moments of action, drama, heroism, and a rich story, Halo: The Rubicon Protocol is within reach. Imagine this. The story picks up right after Halo 5, and instead of focusing on Master Chief, our protagonist is Edward Buck. It's as if we were having a Halo ODST 2 with a more raw, human, and military tone. Matt Forbeck's Bad Blood takes us down that explosive and emotional path. The novel begins with Buck and the Spartans of Blue Team and Osiris escaping the chaos on the Genesis planet, pursued by Forerunner troops and under the shadow of Cortana. It features epic moments like the reunion of Chief and the Thel 'Vadam Inquisitor, and the reunion of Buck and his girlfriend Veronica. All under the pressure of the very real threat of Cortana, which is growing ever larger. You immediately feel the pressure, the fear, and the uncertainty. Throughout the book, covert naval intelligence missions occur that force Buck to rejoin his old group, Alpha 9, including the person Buck would rather never see again, Mikkel, who betrayed him to the team in previous events. And this is where the ODST spirit shines. It's not a story of invulnerable Spartans. It's a military unit slowly coming together as it faces Guardian ambushes, internal betrayals, and an impossible mission. Think gunfights in dark alleys, emergency rescues, explosions in abandoned hangars. That same energy we once loved in ODST, but now with a much more complex moral undertone. What truly distinguishes Bad Blood is that duality. Guerrilla military action, human emotion, loyalty betrayed and then rebuilt. Buck becomes one of the platoon. He looks exhausted, ashamed, worried about his friends. And that's Halo ODST in its purest form, but elevated with Spartan abilities and far more advanced technological threats. Facing enemies that are no longer just the Covenant, you realize one thing: this should have played out. With a cinematic presentation, a Spartan HUD, the tactical tension of rescuing civilians, and infiltrating enemy strongholds, Bad Blood would have been the best spiritual successor to Halo 3 ODST. Ultimately, this book not only expands the Halo canon, it embodies a military campaign experience charged with emotion, sacrifice, and shooting in the dark, one that the fandom needs in video game form, not just on pages. Edge of Dawn, written by Kelly Gay, picks up right after the epic finale of Halo Infinite, and that's what makes it especially interesting. 343 Industries announced some time ago that Halo Infinite would extend for 10 years with ongoing content, This included story expansions, major DLC, and dramatic new developments to keep the universe alive. But this promised narrative continuation is now history, as we all know the problems Halo Studios had and continues to have, with multiple layoffs, resignations, and employees exposing how hard it was to work within the studio. Due to all this, the 10-year promise, as you know, no longer exists, and instead the studio is working on new projects now supported by a new graphics engine that promises to facilitate the creation of future games. Because of this, the future of the saga and its story with the Master Chief is still uncertain. It wasn't until a few days ago that this new novel was announced, which tells the direct sequel to Halo Infinite. In this book, Master Chief continues to fight the Banished on Zeta Halo alongside his new AI, the Weapon, and pilot Fernando Esparza. The plot delves into the search for survivors after the defeat of Escarum and the Harbinger, introducing a young combat medic tortured by the Harbinger and revealing the survival of the fearsome Sangheili swordsman Jega Radomnai. But this is where a powerful question arises. Why wasn't this mission, so rich in narrative, emotion, and new locations, made into playable DLC? Imagine picking up your game after the defeat of Escarum and the Harbinger, continuing with Chief, delving into Forerunner ruins, rescuing allies, and facing Jega Radomnai in epic battles, instead of reading it. Don't get me wrong, the book format is fine, allowing you to delve into the lore and explore emotions in detail, but it leaves out the immersive experience that only a video game can offer. The concept of Edge of Dawn clearly fits what many fans were hoping for, a narrative expansion of Infinite, with more missions, new locations, interactive dialogue, and a proper conclusion to the first act of the 10-year plan. Over the years, Halo has given us memorable stories, but many of them weren't experienced with a controller in our hands, but rather in the pages of a novel. From Blue Team's brutal mission in Shadows of Reach to the fight for survival in the Rubicon Protocol, the reunion of Alpha 9 in Bad Blood, and the direct sequel to Halo Infinite in Edge of Dawn, all of these stories have one thing in common. They could have, and perhaps should have, been video games. And like these stories, there are many other examples we could mention, but I think this one captures my point. Halo Studios now has the opportunity to change that, to rescue these stories and transform them into playable experiences, DLC, or something entirely new. The universe has already been written, it just needs to be brought to life. If you too dream of experiencing these campaigns one day, leave me a comment, subscribe, and join this community that still believes in the best of Halo. Until the next video, peace.